Hello everyone. Today we are going to start a new series, and this is going to be not me but others playing. And I think most often than not, I will start with everybody else PB games, and we will analyze the games and show where they can improve because Noro is kind of a tough game. It is not immediately rewarding because sometimes you make the correct decision but just get unlucky, and sometimes you make dumb decisions, and those dumb decisions eventually pay off because they had a low probability of working, but they ended up working anyways. So today I'm going to show you the PB game of Nyddrerora, and this game is her third time going over 40. So let's jump into it. So basically, I like the first piece. Of course, there is not much you can mess up with one piece. I think this is also correct. That one is also correct. So eventually, the early couple of pieces, everything is completely perfect. I don't think I can add something into it. Okay, so even this one is very important to go to the really right. I'm not undertucking because this way a new J can come here, but it has one specific reasons. In this exact position, by the Z shouldn't probably go to the really right if you are playing for a comp game and not for a PB game. Because of the L pieces, you don't really have pace, and like I think, yeah, you probably can place an L here or here if an O comes, but I don't think you have space for it. So I think probably the Z, like really under here, is the most safe move, but of course this one is the most uh, value move, where if you don't get an L piece, which is most probably, that means your stack is the best this way, because this way not just one pair of T as Z, but two of them can be handled with these holes here and here. So yeah, basically that's it. So I think this one is correct. Okay. Okay, so this one is now greedy. So yeah, of course there are levels for this one. You can make a move which is probably dubious, but you can make blunders. This one is not a blunder because yeah, you can still get a J. This T still has a place. So if you are pushing and you need, because you know, for example, your average is like 20 or 22 and you are playing for 40, this is some kind of move that you should, of course, risk. But now I think this Z should go either to the really left or be tucked under here, uh, because, yeah, getting now J's and not L's, this is just not something I think you should risk. But of course, you can get it, as you will see. So the T comes, we save the bottom line, and the add piece comes just in time. So you can place it under, and this way it is perfect. Okay, so again, I think this square was unnecessary. This square could still come into the middle because your L piece anyways comes here, because this is the placement which is 7 widening your stack, and because there is another hole, you are still safe from Z pieces. Also, the Z pieces go good after the L tack on the left, on the burning side. I don't see any reason why this square shouldn't go into the middle, except the fact that this is stabilizing your stack. Now you are not dependent on J piece. So this one hole, if you can get everything under it, it's probably worth it. It's just probably unnecessary. But of course, if you get another square, then this square makes a lot of sense coming here and not here. So of course, there are arguments that this is fine, and I think it's fine. I just don't think this is something that in this position is a necessity, but I don't hate it, basically. Okay, let's go. I think the L is perfect. That one is perfect. Also, okay, so this square and this T. So for example, this square, now the square comes here. I like it. Don't get me wrong, or anything. But I think because it was a square and it was a T, the square could have gone to the really left because that would leave like an L double and eventually reopening the stuff, and the T could go lower because there is a rule, a general rule of thumb. It's not something that always should be followed, but more often than not, filling holes from bottom to top is good because if you have a hole in the bottom and you have to cover it, recovering a hole is pretty low chance. So if you can avoid it, you should avoid it. Basically, that's the idea behind it. And this way, our hole is a little lower than in the other way around. But it's all right. It's all right. And of course, the L piece is not burning, just complicating the stack. But it's not something serious. Okay, so the long bar can be tucked. I think that's the correct move. The LP stuck is also the correct move. And I think the square is really, really important. Okay, so because the next piece is what it is, it's a fine move to not go with the square here because it is going right down there. And then an L piece eventually widens the stack. But if it's not this piece and this bottom first line, then this square shouldn't take the burn. This should make the PC setup. But I think taking the burn with the S piece here is now the perfect and absolute best move, and she takes it. So that's very, very, very good. Okay. Okay, so that's again just a small detail. I don't really like it placing here. You should have tugged it all the way because anyway, if you get a new L or a T piece, that can go here, which is already going to make it 5 wide. And of course, with squares S and Z's, it's much safer to widen it to 7 width because this way, if the T comes here, you only have 4, 3, 4, 3. It's not something easily widening to 7 wideness. So yeah, it's slightly suboptimal. Yeah, going here with the tuck, it's better because unless you get an L plus long bar, which of course can happen, this is not something you probably go for. But yeah, you can eventually get lucky and it can be fine. It's just, generally speaking, the other setup is a bit easier to play. You can get specific pieces to this one as well, so it's not like a terrible blunder. Yeah, this R piece is also good. The T is also good. Yeah, the L is fine. The square is good. So yeah, I think all of these placements are perfect. Okay, so this J, I don't hate it, but as your next piece is a T, I think you should focus on getting the lines because now the T comes here for sure, and that means this Minu is 110% square. Otherwise, it's not survivable after the T burn, or like L into Z, but yeah, if it's not the L first, then it's only a square. So yeah, if you are not lucky, I think this line can be discarded, but then you can just discard this line and guarantee you will get it anyways. So it's a bit better to sacrifice lines to guarantee getting one than not sacrificing one, but your stack is still not stable, and if you get a square, you have to place it here to get the double. Otherwise, you would already like to have a square on your right because that would stabilize the stack. Basically, this is also something probably most of you know already if you are following me. If you have a J piece and you put a square on top of it, every single piece is accommodated, every single one. So that means your stack is stable because you have at least one or two pieces, whatever the piece it is, you can place it and it will not make a hole in your stack. So basically that's it. And as you can see, yeah, it's not really stable, but these two pieces are actually stabilizing somewhat, not completely. The square is still nice, but as you can see, you would still need an L piece and then the Z, or if it's a square, it can go here into the middle first, and you don't have to wait the L piece. Eventually, getting every single piece is fine. Taking this burn is fine. Okay, so this square has to go to the really right. There is nothing else. I mean, there is one specific gamble if you place it into the middle and then tuck it with the Z and getting and playing for an L piece. It's probably fine because the square comes here, the Z is overhanging, but the L is actually making a perfect clear setup. But other than that, the square should go to the really right, and I don't think that's something you should play for as you are already having an L dependency on your left. It's it's completely stupid. So yeah, this square is not really good here because this is 6 widening the stack. Otherwise, even the T, even the S, they would 7 widen the stack. So yeah, this square should go to the really right. And this is not a blunder, but this is a mistake for sure. Okay. And again, the L piece can still go to the middle and you can get a Z piece. So the exact same setup can eventually work again. I'm just saying that you already have an L dependency on your left. It's not optimal to do that. It's not something that can never work, and of course you get the L piece. But here, this is a blunder. So, because you see the square, you think clearing the second line is the best move, but it's actually not. You still need a square on your right to stabilize the stack completely. I mean, it's already kind of stable. You have two holes, which is a really good spot. But getting the square here is absolute perfection. And this is also 7 widening. So this is just tunnel vision. And I think this can be worked around if you play lots of games. Okay, again, just for one more time. We are tunnel visioning that, oh, this is a square setup. Just go here. The L piece make it 7 wide. Uh, Whatever, I think we are not going for it. We got the square. Okay. So this T is now 6 widening. That's why it's not the perfect move. The T should have been double tucked here because it would make more room for 7 widening. It would also leave a 5 wide stack on top. You can place the long bar on top of it, and eventually 2 white piece comes, square this one. Even 3 white pieces, you can sack the second line, and you are still fine. So let's see what's the next pieces are coming. So yeah, this is not terrible, of course, but why would you do it? Because now they are 6 wide. It's much harder to get. And now we have to compromise the stack, kind of. I like that. I also like that. Taking the burn is also fine. Going into the middle is also good. Okay. Basically, taking the line here is optimal, but it's not necessary. So either way, you are actually going to take the line. I like that. It's not bad. It's just could have happened a different way. Okay, so this one is bad. This one should go to the really right because eventually, no way around it. You will discard the line because your next piece and this piece is not fitting the stack perfectly anywhere. So just go to the really right, put it on top of it, and you will have freedom. This way, you are making a long bar dependency. Your next piece is also kind of bad. So yeah, it's not something that can never work. It's just, again, a mistake. And this one is actually little bit more serious. Because of course you can put it into the middle like here, put it under and hope for a square, but even the square is not getting you out of the woods. You would still need another square or a z into j. That's just, for example, if you are playing this position for a 60, you can take that risk. It's just not something that you should do. If you discard the line and place it to the really right, then this setup is way less flexible than the other way around. Of course, it would still have a long bar dependency. It's just easier to get the second line this way. It's much tougher because now if you place anything here, the long bar is not going to go down anyway. So yeah, it's just complicating things for probably unnecessary reasons. Okay, I do really hate this move because this move is actually making your life much harder. You need squares and long bars, and you still don't have a place for this piece, unless of course you place it here, get a bar, and then get a square. But what are the odds to do that? What are the odds? And as you can see, it's 100%. So you got it. Of course, you can get lucky. It's just not really a great way to always go for gambles. Of course, you can do it in the early game, you can do it in the middle game if you're aiming high. But this position, what you have here and what you had there, like 2 or 3 lines ago, it was easily 40 plus with safe perfect play with zero risk. Just always the more probable move. I like this. This is also perfect. The L piece is also perfect. The long bar is also perfect. And the square should go to the really right. Perfect. Okay. Now this is again a serious mistake. So it's not just like a small one. This is a serious mistake. So if you have two lines like this one, and you place the L here, that leaves you with a 3 wide gap on the left, and of course you can get it with L plus square, but it's really unlikely. I'm not saying it's never, but it's like unlikely. A way better chance to go here with the L piece and here with the J piece, because then two white pieces can burn your second line. Of course, it's a much better choice. I would say that this on average loses 1 or 2 lines from total because you discard one line and you're not getting one most of the times unless you are like really lucky. Yeah, these are perfect placements. This is also perfect. And now this is a really interesting setup. This is the triple L into a two white piece, which is like S or square. Of course, you should take it. Eventually, you will reopen everything here on the left. Even the fifth line is clearable if you can get semi decently lucky. Yeah, taking, and just a two white piece, probably the square. Now once again, this move is fine with the bar, but keep in mind that our goal is not to build these ones. It is just to burn this one, and then this one, and then this one probably. But now what you just did here is only working if you get a square into an L. And because it's a long bar, it's also two white thingy. You would still need one more to clear the bottom one. Instead of placing the bar to the really right, into the middle, and eventually you could have gotten these lines. I think it's kind of counterintuitive because this is perfectly stacking and the other one is not. But that is a more stable solution. Of course, you can get a square, It's not terrible. It's just at this point, if you are aiming for a 40, which is only 12 lines, and you have set up it for 30, and it would only need like 10 more, you should do it probably. Probably. You will see it soon. So yeah, the T should go to the really right. Oh, I don't like it. Yeah, this move is terrible. This is again a blunder because you have so many perfect lines here, so many. But this move is actually ruining not just the top one, but the one where you place the bar as well. So it is going to ruin this line and this line because you can't tuck a square anymore here because of this. Of course, you wanted to tuck the Z, but now, as you can see, this is blocking lots of stuff. This is blocking this line, this is blocking this line, and this is blocking this line. So with this T, you destroy two for sure and one for potentially. And yeah, the other piece is also kind of terrible. You really want to place it here, but then you still need a square here. So it's kind of bad because it's a love in a because you don't have a stack. You can't discard pieces anymore, and because of this one T, it could have come to the really right. You would be still fine. Imagine this T is here. If you imagine the T comes here, would you place it here at this moment? Of course not, because your mind would tell you that okay, this is just ruining two lines and potentially the bottom one as well. This way it is for sure destroying the bottom one and this one, and potentially this one. Of course, with the really lucky pieces, you could have gotten this one, but yeah, I think the point stands and you can understand it. Okay, so this D is again kind of counterintuitive. It shouldn't really go here. It can go into the middle or to the really right, but this line is now long bar dependent, otherwise it's not clearable, unless like, I don't know, of course there's always solutions with like square plus J or square plus L. It's just not something that is commonly happening, so yeah, it's probably unnecessary once again. And yeah, you can discard one line just to get a stabilizing stack. This way you're not having the stabilizing stack and you're not getting the bottom line more often than not. But of course, you can get the bar and you can get a square and you can make it 7 wide. Again, I don't really understand this move because it's not like you wouldn't place the long bar to the really right anyways. So coming here with the square, long bar flat would make perfect sense, but this way the long bar can't come here unless you have a T next. Let's see. Oh, you have an L. I don't think you should place the bar to the really left, anyways. The really right is the correct move because you would need the lines and L plus then any two-way piece is good. So I think this is correct. That one is also correct. This bar is correct. This one is correct. Okay, this bar clearing is not correct. This should have been tugged, and after the tug, the L can be tugged here. So it's a perfect 665 because then even the J square, bars, squares, everything is good. This way, it's not that good. Okay, this L is trolling. You should get a habit because this is the third time in this game where you are not going for the 5 white setup because the bar is perfect here, the L is perfect here, life is good. Going to the left accomplishes nothing. Oh, that's actually good. Nice, you're improving. You're improving. Now you found it. But then you should have found it in the early and in the middle game as well. Okay, so I like this one as well. Going to the really left is fine. Yeah, going to the really don't take it. Nice. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. So I don't hate this move, but this is kind of selling your board. It's again unnecessary, kind of. Not like it's a bad move or anything. You could have just continue stacking on the right. You still have plenty of room. Look at this. This is plenty of room. So yeah, it's absolutely unnecessary because this piece then has to create a hole. So yeah, probably as you can see, it creates the hole and it's bad. Okay, so now again, this is a really instructive. This T, where should this T come? Oh, should it go here? Which line is going to be better with this move? None of them, because you have an L piece. So of course you should discard this line and you should discard this line. So which one is the next line you can build? Of course, the next one, which is not even built yet. And which part should you build? There are like two different and good moves here. You can go here, here, and the L can go on top of the T. So the T can go to the second, the third, and the fourth column, and the L is perfectly fitting here. That's good, but then your right is kind of problematic. If you end up placing a three white piece, this is a three white gap, and it's not easily gettable. But you can go the T with the T here, because this would leave like a two white gap on the right, and that's perfectly common to get. And the L piece is really good on top of the T, next to the T, and really left. So it's a multifunctional move and a multifunctional piece. You have very uh, good options with it, depending on what's your next piece. Okay, but going here is not building anything. And as you can see, you will discard the line just to get this one. But anyways, discarding and stabilizing at the same time would be better. Okay, again, I don't hate taking this burn, but I again think we still have plenty of time. Building is better, because even if you go here and your next piece is a J or an L, which is like a pretty huge chance and pretty huge probability, you can still go with the square here and takes this one, or you can place the square next on top of it. And what if the next piece is a bar? You can place the square here and the bar into the middle. So many piece combinations to burn. It's unnecessary to sell your board with this move, because this move guarantees you one thing, that this here is a dependency and it is going to only be solved if you get a J piece, and that's not a high probability. Okay, you got it. But you see this way what's going on? Imagine your J would be here. Your square could have gotten on top of it, but now it has to go here. And now it's dicey. How do you want to improve this one? So your L should go to the really right, unless it's like a 3 wide or a J, so you can stack, or like I don't know. It's not clear, and it's again unnecessary. Okay, the bar came, which is good and which is nice. Okay, I like the square here, but the square could have gotten to the really right and the L on top of it. I like that a little bit more, I guess, but I don't hate this one. Yeah, this one is also good. And now I think what I should do is stop a little bit, because this S piece is interesting, because as you are placing the L here and you see this piece, your ultra instinct should be to go to the really left and just discard this piece. Eventually, whatever piece comes is just better, right? Because this is the worst possible piece in this position. But I don't hate it. You can go here, for example, holding on for a T and something here, because then the bar can go to the really right if it's a T, a bar can go to the middle if it's an L, I mean a J. So again, it's multifunctional, but going to the really right is also fine, but then the bar should go to the really left. So I still think at this point, if this piece can go to the really left, you have decent options. I like this one. I like this one. But for fuck's sake, this is the position, and here you should just place the bar into the middle. Just go into the middle. Even going to the really right is fine. It's not optimal, but you can still burn one line into the middle, and you are still really good hopes to get 50. really, really good hopes. But this time, combining the J piece and the long bar is a horrible mistake. Because even if you get a two white piece here, it's unnecessary. You got the line, you are not discarding anything. Imagine it's here. So, I mean, it's in the middle, and this one is burning, and the next one is already making a double for the square, for the T. And yeah, life is good. But this time, this way, again, just discard the J here, the next one, and hope for some pieces. I don't know, win time. But going in here and then here is just complicating things. And yeah, this is nothing is going to clear here. Okay, this square is terrible mistake. This square should go to the really right. You should always focus on lines. You should first. It's level 4. Don't push down. You need every single second to think because there are so many combinations, and this is the only time you have to actually has to use your brain. So going here, T here, and eventually, I mean, going the square here, T here, eventually a two white piece happens here. It's fine. And also the square, T here, the L has a place. You again go here with the T is accomplishing nothing. You are still, and this exact situation happened in this game earlier. You will have two white gaps, and your next piece is not a two white piece. So going here is a terrible mistake. It's unnecessary. You will not get it, and you will just rage. Let's see if you can get two white pieces. Of course you are not. So end of story. Yeah, I think this bar attack is fine, but because of your next piece, it is what it is. You can only have a chance if your next piece is a T or a J. Otherwise, nothing feels the right. Um, I don't know. I think the bar to the really right is, I mean, to the really left is actually a better idea because you can still maneuver pieces over. You can hope for this one, and also you can hope for a top line clear reach. So imagine the bar is here, this piece is here. If a two white piece comes, you can maneuver over the long bar and put it down there. Yeah, probably higher chances, and also because it's a two white piece like TL piece makes it perfect for a top line clear glitch. But yeah, it's tough. It's high, but at least you shouldn't push down. And then yeah, that's a nice catch. That's a nice catch. You shouldn't really go to the rewrite. Of course, with this exact setup, that would have been the better move. But you can never know it. So yeah, this one is actually the best one you can do. So again, this T is terrible. There is no chance that you're gonna get another T. Like that's one piece. It's not a serious mistake. It's just over time there will be games where you can get this line on top of it. But this one is 1 out of 7. It's a really really low probability that the square can go to the really left and then you can get another T here. I mean, if that happens, that's insane. Of course, it's not. But imagine the T goes to the really, really left, and then the square can go next to it. And even then, if it's like an L piece, a long bar, something can happen. Like always, if you are this high and there is like virtually zero chance to clear lines, you should just go for the top one because if you get the top one, you are still rewarded with 2 extra lines and 2 extra spaces to get lines. So that's just something you should keep that in mind. But overall, this was a solid game. Really, really impressive early game. I think most of it was correct. I think the mistakes started happening around the L, which has never happened into the middle, and that was a tunnel vision with the L plus square to get the line instead of making it 7 wide. Then the next really huge mistake was the T. The T blocked everything in the middle and on the left. and then not going for the correct lines when you are on top, and in the end game you really have to pick and choose which lines you are trying to clear and which one you are not, because you can't pick and choose your pieces, but you can pick and choose your lines, which ones should be cleared. So of course, making decisions on higher probability yields better results over time. Of course, one games can go really good and you can get really high, but other games are, and most of the other games are going to be trash. So of course, it's not a really good trade-off if you are this high and you are chasing a PB. So I think the correct way to go for it, I mean, if you are going for a PB, is risky early game, semi-risky mid game, and zero risk end game. That's the perfect solution to get like 50s. And as you can see, I can do it, and this means others can do it. So this recipe is pretty good to get 50s, but it's not really good to get 60s, and it's not really good to get um, consistent 40s or consistent 30s, because you don't even need to risk to get like 25s or something like that. So there are definitely better strategies for other stuff, but for 50, this is I think a good ingredient to take into consideration making it to the cooking pot. So again, I think the game was fine. Just keep that in mind that square was not necessary, but it was fine. I don't hate it. I think it's the second best move, and then not 7 widening is a really huge blunder, and then uh, in the middle game that T was terrible. Just if you have a bad piece, just discard one line. Go to the really right, that is discarding one line. But this way you are discarding three and not getting three. That means your space is reduced by three and your line counter is reduced by three. So it's double way of punishment. So yeah, probably you should also look for it. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and it was helpful. And I really hope you can get 50 one day. And yeah, best of luck, everyone. And have fun. Enjoy your time and play Tetris. Bye.